Thank you to your family for their support and sacrifice, and to your young son who looks about as interested in this hearing as others. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for your service to this point. I am interested in probing a bit and understanding how you would think about the staffing of your court, and how some of the experiences that you submitted in your materials might inform that. To that point, as a historically black college graduate myself, I note that you have spent some time at Florida A&M as an adjunct professor. Can you share with us the learnings, lessons offered to you by those sort of aspiring legal scholars, and how it would help you to think about the roles necessary and diversity necessary to be a part of your court?
Yes, Senator, thank you. I do have the privilege of serving as an adjunct professor at Florida A&M University College of Law, which, as you recognize, is a historically black college or university. It actually is directly across the street from the U.S. courthouse. So that was really part of my effort to help get those students who come, many of whom come from very non-traditional backgrounds, some economically disadvantaged backgrounds, into federal court. Because one thing that I noticed as a prosecutor in the court and then as a judge is that we didn't see the students very often. So I started the federal practice course. We would meet every week in my courtroom, and I would introduce them to federal judges and practitioners, and we'd have those conversations, which I think is important in terms of exposing those students and others to federal practice, which in some ways can be intimidating, and we often see people from a certain background. We don't see people very often who come from places like Florida A&M University, so I wanted to provide that exposure to the students, and it's really been a great learning experience, and it's impacted the way that I staff my chambers. For instance, I have conversations with students and potential clerks about clerking and why they haven't thought about clerking or applying to a clerkship, and one thing that I learned is that for many of them, should come as no surprise, they have a very heavy loan burden, and taking a year off instead of going to private practice but coming to clerk can present a financial challenge, but especially, which is common at the time I started, a 2-year clerkship. So that would be 2 years of that challenge. So now my standard is to do a 1-year clerkship that can be extended, but I think in that way I broaden the pool of applicants that I get for my clerkships.
I appreciate that. Just one last question, Mr. Chair, and I will yield my time. I meet you at a place of being from a small town. Birmingham is not small compared to Magnolia, Mississippi. But the states that are a part of the 11th Circuit actually do encompass a variety of residents and geographical diversity, ensuring fair and adequate access to the law feels essential for a circuit that is so geographically diverse. Can you talk about how, from the experience that you have had as a magistrate judge, how it is that you approach ensuring fair, adequate, and competent justice, and so that litigants actually understand the positions that you are offering and conclusions that you're coming to?
Yes, Senator. And to clarify, I was born in Birmingham, but I was raised in Vincent, which has about 3,000 people. So we'll have to talk about who comes from the smaller town. But we, as a current judge, I take that issue very seriously because we have a lot of pro se individuals, and their case is very important to them as for any litigant, but they are often not well versed in the law. So I particularly take an interest in those, and I'll often bring them into the courtroom to try to explain the process for moving their case forward. And I've had some cases where the litigants were ultimately successful, and sometimes they just need a little help understanding how the process works. If I were to be confirmed to the 11th Circuit, I would continue to do that. I had the great fortune of clerking for Judge Gregory on the 4th Circuit, and he took a particular interest also in those sorts of pro se cases, the prisoner litigation, just giving them a closer look, making sure that their valid claims are actually heard by the court, and that's something that I would continue to do.
Thanks, Senator Butler. The senior senator from California, Senator Padilla.
Thank you.